Shalom, shalom, Israel.
Shalom.
We're the Hebrew Israelite, all right? And we're the hopeful elect, okay? And we are the Church of Yahweh Shai 144, right? Second circle, man. All right, so we're back again, you know, for another edition, all right, of the truth, of the new one, you know? A deeper understanding of, you know, the gospel, of the Torah, of the understanding that was given to us as an heritage, man. All right, so before we start, we'll turn to the east, and we're going to give our praises. Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Wahab, Rakah, Badash. All right, double honors to the apostle of GMS who teach and rule well. All right, double honors to Malak Ashan, okay? And then peace salutation to the brothers who, like us, are doing the work, you know, in the four corners, you know, of the earth. Okay, and you know, Shalom Wahab to the brothers and the sisters who are awaiting the return of our Lord and Savior, Yahweh Shah Mashiach. All right. So obviously you go, you know, your brother Yarzakwa Allah, you go brother Mayam, okay, the reader. And then we're going to get into it today, man. And today is a lesson that, you know, I'll try to like shorten so it's not so long. So I'll be reading a lot from my note, but I'm going to, you know, as usual, try to bring it, you know, in a nicely so it can be, you know, an edification, or it could be edifying to the body. All right? Right, so the title of the edition of the lesson today is, you know, the bastard children of Jacob, you know, the bastard children of Jacob. So before we start, I would like us, you know, to get into the term, you know, bastard. You know, when you go into the Lashwana Kodash, when you read, get the Deuteronomy 32, that'll be the first thing before I'm probably going to come back to it, but briefly, but I would like to use that as an introduction because obviously we have to define that term. Because if you go to Deuteronomy 23 and 2, let me check. What are they saying? Right. So if you, when you read Deuteronomy 23 and 2, what it is that people, when I came in this truth, you know, we would call Esau a bastard. You know, we would call Amalek, you know, a bastard. You know, but, and that's why the new wine is so important, because the new wine defines the things that we overlooked. The new wine, you know, we put things on the table again so we can look at it in a deep, you know, the right way, from the right angle. And when we look at the term bastard from the right angle, you know, it means, obviously I will show you that in the editing you will see, it means, you know, a son, there's many, you know, there's many definition, but the definition, you know, of that particular verse goes into, you know, or that fits that particular context, goes into a son, okay, or an offspring of the mixing between an Israelite man and a heathen woman. That's a bastard. But when you look into Esau, when you read Genesis 25, Esau is actually a legitimate son of Isaac.
Yep.
Esau is not illegitimate, but illegitimate, right? You know, illegitimate, but he is legitimate. All right. So when we talk about the bastard son of Jacob, we're talking about Europe. What happened in Europe, man? During the Renaissance, even before that, what happened? So that's what we're going to go into. And obviously it's going to open the eyes of the specklebird. We need to know, because sometimes I watch some videos about brothers, and what happened is that they will see a guy from Ireland come, and they'll immediately say, oh, you're an Edomite. We teach it for our people, not for you. And I'm thinking, nah, that's not the spirit, man. But hopefully after that lesson, you know, you're gonna be able to know, you know, what it is, man, and exercise, you know, the spirit of discernment better, you know, because if you don't know, you don't know. But once everything is put on the table, I think it will help, right? So, you know, first of all, let's start with Europe, right? Europe, go to Revelation 17 and 1. Read something, let's carry on, man. Revelation 17 and 1, yeah.
This is the book of Revelations, chapter 17, verse 1.
Right.
And there came one of the 7 angels,
right,
which had 7 vials, and talked to me, saying unto me,
right,
come hither,
come hither, right,
I will shew unto thee,
right,
the judgment of the great whore,
right, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore
that sitteth upon many waters.
That sitteth, you see, upon many waters. And I'll put, you know, something, you know, in the editing that will make you understand. So now, you're gonna understand that the whore that sitteth upon many water is not America. It's Europe, man. Right? That's the whore, man. And even in that movie, Gladiator, there's a part which I will put in the editing as well.
Never seen before. So, Spaniard, we shall go to Rome together and have bloody adventures. And the great whore will suckle us until we are fat and happy and can suckle no more. And then...
Where the guy says, we're gonna go to that hall and suck a teeth until we fight. What is he talking about? He's talking about, you know, he's talking about the Europe, man. And technically, when you look at it, all right, it goes into the many waters, man. Because there's many waters, there's many seas. That Mediterranean sea there's many, man. You know, there's many. Yo, Malak. Yo, man, you good? You're shallow, my bro. You good, yeah?
Yeah. When I come back, I want to talk to you, man.
Come.
What, you just set up?
Yeah, we started. We
just started now?
Yeah. Right? So there's many, man. There's many waters. The Mediterranean Sea. Actually, it's many waters, man. Okay, it's many waters. All right. So it's not America. America is only one body of water, but Europe. We're gonna show you that there's an ancient map that actually proves that, right? And that's what we're gonna show you. Okay, so we start with that, man. We start with that. What happened in Europe? How people went into Europe, right? They went into Europe, and what they did is that they suck on the teeth of that whore, man. They're mixed in with the Edomites. Yeah? They're mixed in with the Edomite seed. Right? And that created those bastard children. So what happened is that, you know, the Moors, they used to go and take those Edomite. And what they did is that obviously they had women, legitimate wives. So they'll pop these Edomite women, right? And they'll put them in dungeons. They wouldn't even come in the courts. They would say, don't bring them to court. So obviously by popping them, they'll get them pregnant. And by getting them pregnant, all right, by getting them pregnant, what's going to happen is that, you know, you're going to create bastard. Now, they will grow without resentment, right?
Yeah.
They will grow without resentment because the woman, the Edomite woman, you know, she grow without resentment because she's not treated right. She's hidden, you know? She's hidden and put aside in that. So what she gonna do? She gonna now breathe hate in that bastard child, that so-called, you know, that offspring, that bastard child. Yeah. And then they will say, listen, you see this guy? You see how he's treating us? When you grow, you become strong, you're gonna take over. And that's what happened. And that's what will lead us into the Renaissance, right? It will lead us into the Renaissance, and then those bastard children will be the muscle that Amalek. Because you gotta understand, Europe was conquered by who? Amalek before anything. They took the land of Javan, and they took the land of all of the Russian, all of those people, and then they became now the European. But before it was who? The children of Japhet. So those Amalekites with Alexander the Great, they had money from the get-go. But when Jake came in with Issachar and the Levite and set up the Roman Empire, which actually started from Africa, yeah, because we had Roman provinces a long time ago, and that's what we're gonna get into the next point will be that, because brother will be saying that what's the proof that the land is Africa, and there's no proof of the Lashwana Wadasha. There's actually a text that I will show you, that I will put on the edit as well, that will show you something that certain town where although they have different names today, those towns were like how can I say that? Were named after the Lashwana Kodash, man. Alright? But what happened is the high people, the scholarly, the Levite, left West Africa and they went into Europe. They set up the Romans, and they went as well before that into the Americas. Alright, so that went with the whole vibration, the whole literature, the whole elements of Hebraism, and they left the Hebraism of every day, like circumcision in West Africa. That's why the West African, for a long, a period of time, we were acting like savages, because we were going, to worship other idols and that.
Spirits.
All right. So I'm giving you the introduction. Yeah. So I say the whole that sat on many water is Europa. All right. That's why men are very effeminate over here. He has that feminine energy floating around. All right. But her bastard children went to America to start something new. Hence why they built the Statue of Liberty. So the Statue of Liberty was actually represent that hall. And what does it represent as well? It represents the liberty that the Edomite woman gave to a bastard child. Because if you read Nehemiah 13, it shows you how Nehemiah was fighting those brothers that had those women from different nations. And we've seen that in the text that those women told, those children, they didn't even speak the Hebrew. Those children spoke the mother tongue, the tongue of their mother. So Nehemiah was like that. But what's going on, man? Like, they don't even know the Hebrew, man.
Yeah.
So those children, when they grow up, they will be in that mindset of the Edomites. They'll move like the Edomite. So they will see you as the enemy, because you got that Hebrew vibration. They no longer have that Hebrew vibration really, because they're being fed by the mother. Yeah. Right? So I say, but her bastard children went to America to start something new, hence why they built the Statue of Liberty, given as a gift by France. All right?
Well, the French created.
Right, the France gave to the bastard children of Jacob when they went to America. The France gave them that as a gift, because liberty is not actually freedom. Liberty is wanting to do what you want to do. Yeah. And those bastard children, that's why they broke forth. All right, the Levite among them had that element of the vibration of the law, but for the most part, they were doing. If you look into the history of Europe, the bastard child, they did what they wanted. They were very wicked, and they did what they wanted. Yeah. They strayed away from the path.
Bad breeds.
The bad breeds, like you say. All right. So, but her bastard children went to America to start something new. Hence why they built the Statue of Liberty, given as a gift by France. All right, as a gift by France, representing Queen Europa. Okay, right, making America the virgin daughter. All right, making America the virgin daughter of Babylon. So America is not really Babylon, but she's the virgin daughter of Babylon. Why? Because no one has been able to conquer Babylon right now. right? Like no one has been able to conquer America, but America will be soon what? Conquered. That's why if you look at the missile, they have that penis shape because they're gonna penetrate her and make her lose the flower and rape her. All right, so that make more sense. All right, yeah. So she'll be fucked in the time to come. All right, right. So now go to Nehemiah 13 and 23. You understand the Statue of Liberty. Everything is in the scriptures, man. But the Spirit of the Most High, you know, will inspire brothers. In that case, like Ashan, and you know, it will be revealed, man. I'm just the messenger. Obviously, I do my due diligence, my research, you know. But trust me, man, the Spirit
23, yeah?
is working, yeah.
23.
Yeah, Nehemiah 13 and 23. What does it say?
This is Nehemiah, chapter 13, verse 23. In those days,
Right,
also,
right,
I saw Jews
right,
that had married
right,
wives
right,
of Ashdod
right,
and of Ammon
right.
and of Moab. Verse 24. And their children
And their children
spake half
speak half
in the speech
in the speech
of Ashdod
of Ashdod.
and could not
Yeah.
speak in the Jews' language.
You see that, and could not speak in it. So that means that whole vibration, that whole, you know, understanding, that whole education, that whole Hebrewism was gone. Why? Because when you go to work, I'll give you an example. If you're married to a heathen woman, you go to work most of the time, you go and you have to provide and that. She's at home most of the time, but she's taking care of the children. She's going to pick them from school, she's spending time with them. What do you think she's going to do? She's going to teach him their ways.
Books.
So he gonna grow up being, you know, of his mother. Yes, he has your blood, but he gonna act from that motherly vibration, man. And you can explain why the bastard children of Jacob, once they came into power, into knowing, you know, into power, I would say in Europe, they got used by Amalek. They were the muscle, man. And that's what will bring the Renaissance. But before that, go to Psalm 144 and 11. Let's see what it says, man. You know, let's read that and let's get into the Lashwana Kodash vibration that was in the West Coast, in Africa. It's been in Africa, but there's been an effort to get rid of it. For those brothers who say that, what is the proof that, you know, Africa is the land? All right, there's been a big work that's been done by Esau and even the bastard children to make sure. That's why it says in the Bible that a bastard shall dwell in Ashdod, man. And there's a reason why it says that, you know, that they did what? Huh?
144 verse 11.
Right, like what does it say? Right, before you go there, look, even if you look into it, right, they always speak about the Great Wall of Berlin. What about the Great Wall of the Benin? The Levites had the big wall, man, the big wall. Maybe that was like the tabernacle, man. But they got rid of it. If you go today, you're gonna find it. You think he wasn't there before? Of course he was there before, man. They have to get rid of all the evidence. Because they want to move, you know, Israel from way east to some Middle East, you know, which is really, it's not even Middle East. You know, it's the East. There's no such thing as Middle East. It's the East, which is Egypt, really. Okay? So read it now.
Verse 11. Psalm chapter 144, verse 11. Rid me and deliver me from the hand of strange children, whose mouth speaketh vanity, and their right hand is a right hand of falsehood.
You see that? Read that again from the top. But this is what happened, bro. The bastard, this is the vibration that got at some point. Hating us and all of that, man. It's serious. Read it.
Rid me and deliver me from the hand of strange women.
Right.
Slakia. From the hand of strange children.
Right.
Whose mouth speaketh vanity.
Whose mouth speaketh vanity.
And their right hand is a right hand of falsehood. Right,
and the right hand is the right hand of falsehood, man. And you're gonna understand that when we start talking about the Renaissance. Because people think that, the people say, you know, it's the Edomite that came up with it. No, it's not an Edomite. You understand? It's actually the Edomite was behind everything. There was you know, the money they put the money in, but the spirit of it came from the bastard children, because there's a revenge that has to take place. There's a resentment, you know, that is there. The energy is there, and they're gonna move that way, man. They're gonna proceed to get rid of the picture that remind them of the fathers that forsook them.
Hey.
Yeah, and they're gonna put the picture of the mothers. But meanwhile, the mother's side is like, yeah, man. But at that time, the icon is a big thing. Religion is a big thing, because the proof is the papacy at that time. The Pope ruled everything. Just like the Prime Minister today, the Pope ruled everything. So imagine that. So they have to take control of that angle, man. You know? That's why the Renaissance was so important. You have to get rid of that darker side for the whiter side to be in place, right? But before we go there, I was thinking about, the vibration, the Lashwana Kwadasha evidence, right? So there's a location, there's a place in Algeria, I believe, called Skida. Yeah. And I'll put the evidence as well in the editing. Skida, which is S-K-I-D-A, right?
Skida.
Right, and if when you go into it as well, you will see it. I'll make sure that I highlight it. You will see it. The Skida is written in Rashawana Kwadasha, which goes back to Rashakada, right? Rashakada, but today they change it into Skida. It used to be called Rashakada, but they change it into Skida, man. All right. So really, Rome started with the Issachar rite, right? They started with the Issachar rite in, what they call North Africa, but it's actually West Africa. Okay, the Maghreb area, and then they went into Sicily, they went into Greece, they went into Barcelona, to Spain.
Paul traveled around Europe.
Right, and then they took over. But before that, our people took over all those places. Okay, so that's a proof for those who say that, oh, there's no. So if you can find that sort of proof, imagine the rest. And you will find out that a lot of the towns, a lot of the names in Africa came from Hebrew. But the bastards, when they came to colonizers, yes, they're colonizers as well. Yes, the bastard children colonized us, man. We're going to get into that. All right? Now, we have to get into the Bible to further prove that it was biblical prophecy that the land will lose that vibration energy. So go to Hosea 4:1. Hosea 4:1.
This is Hosea chapter 4, verse 1. Hear the word of the Lord, ye children of Israel, for the Lord hath a controversy with the inhabitants of the land, because there is no truth, no mercy, nor knowledge of Yahweh in the land. Keep going.
Hold on, man. Just bear with me. I need to.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, my lord, read it. Ready? Read it again, my lord.
This is Hosea chapter 4, verse 1. Hear the word of the Lord,
Right?
ye children of Israel,
Read it.
for the Lord hath a controversy
For the Lord had a controversy,
with the inhabitants of the land.
right, with the inhabitant of the land, man. So he had a controversy. He had the beef, like I say, with her.
And why? Why? It's
know? Carry on.
because there is no truth,
Right?
no mercy,
Right?
no knowledge
Right.
of Yahweh in the land.
Come on. So yeah, read
Hosea.
read Hosea again, Malak.
This is the book of Hosea, chapter 4, verse 1.
Right?
Hear the word of the Lord, ye children of Israel.
Right?
For the Lord have a controversy
Right?
with the inhabitants of the land.
Right. So the Lord has a controversy with the inhabitant of the land, and I was talking about Israel, Africa. Yeah? Because there's no way it can be that little spot there. It don't make no sense. Yeah, we proved it in a video already, and we're gonna prove some more, but it's not our time yet. Right now we're talking about the bastard children of Jacob. Alright? So yeah, go to when we read it, the Mosai was upset with that land, so he made sure he allowed the bastard children as well as the Esau to come and remove everything, man. Alright, and that's what happened. Now I want you to read as well Hosea 3 and 4. Hosea 3 and 4.
This is Hosea chapter 3, verse 4.
Right,
For the children of Israel
right,
shall abide many days without a king,
right. So the children of Israel shall abide, many days without a king,
and without a prince,
and without a prince.
and
Carry on.
without a sacrifice,
And without a sacrifice. Carry on.
and without an image.
And without an image. So that means that, that whole thing, the spirituality, the proof, like you can go to certain places like America was in touch, because America, that's where some of our people went, the 10 tribe went. So hold on, so that they won't have, like, it's not the place. We're talking about a motherland. We're talking about Canaan. Do you think they're gonna leave Canaan with proofs like that? Sometimes we gotta use our initiative. We gotta use our head, man. It's very important. We gotta use the spirit that the Most High gave us, to understand things, man. Right. So carry on, Malak.
Yeah.
Is that it?
And without an ephod,
Right.
and without a teraphim,
You see that? Without an import, we need understanding. The Hebrew, the Levites were gone, man. The Levites were gone, and we're gonna go into. You understand? We had a priest that left that West Coast part and went to the east and built the temple, man. Because the temple that was destroyed, in 70 AD, like they say, it's not the temple of Solomon. Because the temple of Solomon got destroyed when they went into when Nebuchadnezzar came through, I believe. Nebuchadnezzar, the kingdom of Nebuchadnezzar, the third, I believe.
that's
Right?
Daniel's time, though, isn't it? That's the Daniel the prophet's time, right?
That's yeah. So right, get first Maccabee free. First Maccabee 3 and 48. Let's explain that part. Let's get into the science of it, man. It's very important, man. You see, when you read Isaiah 25 and 7, it tells you about removing the covering cast, and that's what the New Wine Ministry is doing, man.
What's it, 38? 48.
48, I believe.
This is First Maccabees, chapter 3, verse 48.
Bring that out.
And laid open
Right?
the book of the law,
And laid open the book of the law,
wherein
Right.
the heathen had sought
right?
to paint the likeness of their images.
Right. And when you read Psalm 144:11, it talks about the heathenistic. When you talk about the heathen as well, talk about the scattered children, talk about the bastard children as well of Jacob, man. That's why in the New Testament it speaks of the heathen and the Christian thing that all talks about the other nation. No, heathen means as well, especially in the Maccabean, context. It talks about our people, the scattered one, man. Because think about it, the law, the Torah, right, was given to who? The tribe of Levi, the priest, the Levi priest, man. It was given to them. Okay? So Esau don't know about the law. For him to be able to use the law against us, all right? For him to be able to use the law to take us out of it, to turn us into Antiochian and that, he has to do it with the tribe of Levi, with the priest of Levi, because they're the one that have the book. They're the one that understand the book better than any other tribe and any other nation. That's just common sense, man.
Assuming their nature, man.
Right. Now, let's read a precept that will show you the mind of the Edomite family that birthed those bastard children that will become powerful to the point where they'll push that Renaissance vibration. Go to Wisdom of Solomon 14, man. Wisdom of Solomon 14. You know, Wisdom of Solomon 14, 15 to 16. Not all.
14, yeah? To what? Verse 16.
Wisdom of Solomon 14, 15 to 16.
This is the wisdom of Solomon.
15 to 16. Like that.
This is the wisdom of Solomon. Chapter 14.
Right?
15, yeah?
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14.
What verse?
14, 15 to 16.
Okay. This is the wisdom of Solomon. Chapter 14. Verse 14. Verse 15, Salakia. For a father afflicted with untimely mourning, when he hath made an image of his child,
Yeah.
soon taken away,
Right?
thou honored him as a god,
You see that?
which was then a dead man, and delivered to those that were under him ceremonies and sacrifice.
Right. So that's how they pervert it, you know, the divine order, you know, of the Levite. You know. So the obviously that goes into something specific about how people used to deify people or like strong men or king after the dead. Alright? How the king would deify his prince after he's dead or something like that. But it goes into as well how, you know, they saw the black icon. Yeah, the black icon, I would say that like that. Alright, the image. And what that did is like, you know, we're gonna now, you know, put the picture of our sons. Talking about the Esau, we're gonna put the picture of our bastard child. But it's lighter anyway. It's a lighter version of it. We're gonna make it light. You know, because a lot of these bastards, they look like, like I say, if you had a child, if you're an Israelite, and then you have a child with an Edomite, after 3 generations, given, you know, your sons that come out, the first son marry an Edomite, and the sons as well marry an Edomite, and the son marry an Edomite. After 3 generations, we have a Jake looking Edomite. I mean, no, an Edomite looking Jake.
Yeah.
An Edomite looking Jake, and that's what used to happen. So we have the case of who? Caesar Borgia. Are you done with that?
Yeah.
Okay. So now, let's talk about Caesar Borgia, man. You know?
What? So the father honored his child as a god? And in verse 15, it says now honored him as a god.
Read it.
So the father or the son? The father honoring the son.
Yeah, the king will honor the priest, or the father will honor, but in that context, the Edomite mother with her family, you know, we're trying to usurp, how do you say it? Usurp, you know, how vibration, how role our position, and they'll put the son that they have with us, which are the bastard children of. So a lot of the painting that you see, the whitewashing was pushed by who? The bastard children of Jacob. Right? So now, let's talk about, you know, what's the name of the Caesar Borgia, man? You're gonna see something, right? So let's take a look at Caesar Borgia, right? So the name, you know, the name Borgia is a corrupted, all right, is a corrupted way of saying Bana Ragaza, okay? Bana Ragaza, which means sons of thunder. I didn't good yet. Sons of thunder meaning sons of rage. All right. Sons of thunder instead of rage. And I want you to go to this. Huh?
What religion?
Yeah, we Israelite. Basically. What country are you from?
Ethiopia.
Okay. We Israelite.
Yeah?
Israel. We're from Israel.
Children of Israel.
We're the original children of Israel.
Israel.
Yes.
Jewish.
Yes, we're the Jews.
You Jews?
Yes. We go to Mark 3 and 17. We're the Jews, man. The blacks are the Jews. You know, we're the Israel. We're the original. When you say the nation of Israel, the Bible, when he said David, King David, Jesus, all of them, they're black people, the Negroes. Yeah? Negroes.
Verse 22.
Yeah, and you might not even be a Hamite, you might be a Shemite. You might be a Shemite.
Shema.
Yeah, you might be a Shemite. You know Abraham?
Abraham.
You know,
Abraham.
You know Abraham. You know, his side.
Muslim, bro.
I know you're Muslim, but Muslim is just a religion.
Yeah.
Your ancestors were a Muslim. You know, Muslim came around the 7th century.
Bro.
Yeah, really, man.
Say that, brother. I respect, okay?
Shalom.
Yeah,
This is Mark chapter 3,
yeah.
verse 22.
No, verse 17, my love.
Salakia. This is Mark chapter 3, verse 17. And James, the son of Zebedee,
And James, the son of Zebedee, carry on.
and John,
And John, so James and John, they were son of Zebedee, carry on.
and John,
And John,
the brother of James,
the brother of James,
and his surname,
and his surname,
them,
right? You
Boanerges.
see that? His surname, them, but what?
Boanerges.
Boanerges. So if you now take, so you go Borges, if you take the ER, if you take the NER, what do you have? If you know, if you Borges, if you take the E and the NE, it's Borges, right?
Boanerges,
Right.
yeah. Which is the sons of thunder.
You see that? Which is the son of thunder. So they took this to the guy, the family which Caesar Borgia come from who? Alexander the Pope. Pope Alexander the Sixth. Right?
Right.
Yeah, Pope which at that time was a Jake. Because at that time we're talking about 1500 and that. Jake are still ruling, man. Jake are in the process now, they're already having all those mixed race children, and they're becoming now lighter skin. Not a version of us. They look like Edomite. No, not even the Roddy. They look like Edomite. And I told you the Roddy is like light skin niggas, so to speak. Yeah. When you got the bastard children of Israel, which they were like so-called mixed race, free generation, and then become like they look like Edomite, but actually they're not Edomite. That's what we're dealing with at that time, man. So Alexander Pope, and in the editing you will see one example. You know, Pope Alexander the Sixth is an Israelite, and his son is looking like a Edomite at that point. Because at that point, they're mixing the Levite mixed a lot. Go to Malachi 2 and 8. They mixed a lot, man. So that's what you see. And even that guy Michelangelo, which means Michael, Michelangelo was an Italian, right? A Roman, which at that time would definitely be, because all those artists, if you don't know, at that time, they were of the seed of Jacob, man. All those talent was of the seed of Jacob. Okay? So Michelangelo was a Jake. Now, I'm not saying that he was necessarily dark, but he was probably a bastard child, and he's the one that made it, because he was now
of
the bastard child. So he was now commissioned to bring the lighter version of Jake, because the little bastard children are upset with the dad, which is darker, so they want now put the lighter version of Jake on the map, which later the Edomite will call Edomite. They will say these people were Edomite, but they weren't Edomite. They were bastard children of Jacob. You see, that's the mystery, man. All right, that's the mystery. Because, you know, these Pope, this is where they came from. The Pope came from the lineage of the Levite, man. All right? So, you know, you had you need to understand that the Maccabees were the Levites, man. And the term Maccabees means hammer. All right, that's why when you go to courts, they don't have the hammer. See that?
Yeah.
That's where it comes from. You know, so the Levite influenced this society in a major way. The Levite, you know, predominantly, you know, because the papacy at the time was the head and the presidency of everything in society. So the Pope came from the Levitical lineage, man. And those lineage, they got corrupted. Before you go to Malachi, no, go to Malachi 2 and quickly. And then we're going to go to Maccabees. This is what happened. This is what actually took place with these Levi.
This is
This is wicked, because you got wicked Levi as well, you know. Yeah, because they mastered, like I said, the papacy was presidency at that time. They were controlling even the kingship in that. For example, King Henry VIII couldn't divorce from his wife because she was a Catholic and she had strong connection with the papacy of Rome at that time, man. So papacy was on top. So that ruled everything, and the only pope, the only people that could be pope would be who? The priest. And the priest was the Levite. It's not like today where there's disorder. Before they had a sense of order, at least only the Levite could be pope, but they had it. Like the Bible says, the priest of the Most High, man. So yeah, go to Malachi 2 and 8.
This is Malachi chapter 2, verse 8. But ye are departed
Right?
out of the way.
But ye are departed out of the way.
Ye have caused many
Ye have caused many,
to stumble at the law.
and ye have caused many to stumble at the law, man.
Ye have corrupted
And ye have corrupted,
the covenant of Levi.
and ye have corrupted the covenant of Levi. So let's see how these wicked Levi, corrupted the covenant. Go to,
Saith the Lord of hosts.
that's right. Now go to First Maccabees, 1, and start at 11, man. Start 11, they went into the mixing with the Edomite. And then they started to corrupt the whole, priesthood and turn it into Catholics. And there we go, man.
111, yeah?
And after that now, when these bastard children got hold of the priesthood, what did they do? They made an image in the likeness. That's what took place. Okay? That's what took place, man.
Jesus Christ died for your sins.
Yahweh Shai did for
Yeah,
Israel.
his name is Yahweh Shai.
Yahweh.
Yahweh
No.
Shai.
The name of the Father is Yahweh.
The name of Jesus, I am
Ah, then carry on. She's in that. She's drunk in that wine. There's no point talking. We're doing serious thing.
This is First Maccabees,
Yeah.
chapter 1,
Uh-huh.
verse 11.
Right?
In those days,
Uh-huh.
yeah, I'm there.
Well, she had a dress on though,
Yeah.
so she's
Come on, head.
she is. Don't worry, these women, when the time comes, they will hug you. We got rebels within our ranks, so imagine the people outside of the ranks. So yeah.
This is First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 11. In those
In
days,
those days,
when they out of Israel,
right?
wicked men
Right?
who persuaded
Uh-huh.
many,
Right?
saying,
Read that from the top again, bro.
this is First Maccabees, chapter 1,
Read it.
verse 11. In those days,
Right in those days,
went there out of Israel
right?
wicked men who persuaded many, saying,
Right?
let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us.
You
For
see that?
since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow.
Right. So that they went and had a covenant with who? With Amalek and them, man. With Amalek and Esau, man. So that was the Levite. They were the people of the covenant. There was the priesthood. So they're the one that led the way, man. The Levite was ruling things, but they had the priesthood. They had the papacy. All right. So that's it, man. So that's how Caesar Borgia, which is Caesar mean what? Severed. So that guy was a Jew, man. That guy was a Jew, but was a Levite. Caesar, yes, severed. We spoke about Julius Caesar. Yeah. So it's the same thing. Borgia, Baragaza, which means rage, and anger. And you look at that guy, Borgia, he had sex with his own sister. He killed his own brother for power, man.
Well, see, so what's it?
Yeah. You know, so they are very corrupted, man. That seed, very corrupted, man. Okay? So now, what does the Bible say about us mixing with other nations? Go to Toby. The book of Toby 4 and 13, man. The Most High gave us, that's why, and that lesson as well, you know, should remind us of how we move out here, man. If you want to move with this heathen, do your thing, but don't put your seed in them. Because it will come back, and we did it to ourselves. The seed that we left all over Europe came back and did us in, man. They came back as the colonizer, can you believe it? They were the muscle, and Esau was the money. Like I said, Esau always had the money.
Yeah.
But you have to remember they took over Europe, you know, and they conquered the world with Alexander the Great. You see? So, yeah, my life. Get into it, man. What did I say? 13, 4 and 13, man.
This is the book of Tobit, chapter 4,
Right?
verse 13. Now, therefore,
Right?
my son, love thy brethren,
Yeah, carry on now.
and despise not in thy heart
Right?
thy brethren,
Right?
the sons and daughters of thy people,
Right?
in not taking a wife of them.
You see that? So, yeah, carry on, man. Like that.
For in pride is destruction,
Right? In pride is destruction, carry on.
and much trouble, and in lewdness is decay,
Right?
and great want.
What verse are you reading? 13?
Yep.
Carry on.
For lewdness is the mother of famine.
Right.
What's lewdness?
I forgot what word this is, but Google it for the sake of, yeah, because we carry on. Yeah, so, you know, the Most High clearly told us, look, marry, if you're Judah, you marry Judah. If you're Benjamin, you marry Benjamin. If you're Lawaya, you marry Lawaya. If you're Yashashakar, Kara, you marry Yashashakara. If you're Zabalawaan, you marry Zabalawaan. If you're Rahabana, you marry Rahabana. All right? So you have to marry into your tribe, or obviously after, well, you must at least marry an Israelite.
Okay.
Put your seed in an Israelite.
So the
You know?
people, the definition of lewdness is the fact of referring to or involving sex in a rude and offensive way. Yeah.
You see that? And exactly. So that's it. That's the definition of lewdness. Yeah. Are you done with the precept? So now, you know, the most I talked about the degenerate, yeah, the degenerate. Can you tap? Let me tap the degenerate, right? The degenerate. Excuse me, my French. Degenerate plant. Go to Jeremiah 2 and 21, man. But this is what we became. You know, this is what the bastard children represent. That's like Jeremiah 2 and 21. All of these things are prophecy. And all of those things are for our learning to know where we're going from there, and to know where we're going from that situation and how we learn from that. But we know as well what happened in the past and why we're living in what we're living right now and what actually took place. That's the understanding of it. All right? Bastard children of Jacob, man. Read Jeremiah 2 and 21.
This is Jeremiah chapter 2,
Right.
verse 21. Yet I had planted
Right?
thee a noble vine.
And also, we're noble, like we're noble. But what happened, carry on?
Holy, so holy, wally, a right seed. What's that say, wally?
Or holy, yeah, a right seed, yeah?
Slack it up. Wholly, a right seed.
Right?
How then art thou turned into the degenerate plant
How then are thou turned to the degenerate plant
of a strange vine unto me?
of a strange vine unto me? So those bastard children are strange children, and what they did is strange. But ultimately, the Most High control all of that. But they did strange things like they came back to us, you know, to the West Coast, and they put into slavery, you know, But because they were Edomite, people say, oh, I mean, they were lighter skin, they look like the mothers. People were like, oh, these guys are Edomite. Bro, the Edomite, yes, they put the money in. Amalek put the money in. But believe you me, the guy who went to grab you, the guy who went to the interior of Africa working with them Hamite, that was your brother, man. But that was the brother that hates you and in the bastard. Just like you got a family. There are men, you got a woman, you got children, and you go outside and have children with another guy, another woman like you. And the child, you don't recognize the child, but you know who you are, you know the family, you know he's part of your guy, or you just rejected him. When he grows now,
Because of the rejection from your child.
yes, he has resentment.
He has resentment and spite.
And spite, so that can lead to what? Well, he wants to take over the whole family. He wants to take control of everything. Fighting because he has for example, you gave the name, or he has proof that you're his father. He can use that now to go and say, listen, I have the right to have a bit of land as well. I have the right to get a bit of inheritance money. And that's how war. If you look at all the family, the war began between brothers of different mothers. Fathers got different women.
What began with brothers?
Brothers of different mothers.
Yeah.
So that's what he goes into. That's the similitude, the similarity, if I can use any analogy to explain what I'm explaining as far as the bastard children of Israel, that's what it will look like. All right? So did you read Jeremiah 2:21, right? So I say, you know, the more the Levite mixed with the Edomite, the more they became light. The more they mixed with the Edomite, the more the children became light and came out of the element of the Hebrew Israelite element and became heathen, man. That's why they became strange divine. Okay, now go to Joshua 23:12 and look what it did to us, man. So we're going into the colonization part and slave trade part, yeah, of who did that, and you will see why we say what we say. Go to Revelation, go to Joshua 23:12 and 13. This is the Most High told us, man. He told us if you do this, that's what's going to happen to you.
This is the book of Joshua, chapter 23, verse 12. Else, if you do in any wise,
right,
go back and cleave unto the remnant of these nations, even
read it from the top again. Read it from the top again.
This is the book of Joshua, chapter 23,
right,
verse 12. Else, if ye do in any wise,
right,
go back and cleave unto the remnant, of these nations,
meaning mixing with them, mixing seed with them, putting seed in them. Yeah, read it.
Even these that remain among you,
right,
and shall make marriages,
right,
with them, and go in unto them, and they to you. Verse 13, no, for a certainty.
No, so if you go and baptize Edomite, like we did, you know, because we probably were the guys, you know, in the dark ages doing that bullshit as well, you know, we did a lot of bullshit, slapping a lot of these Edomites, you know, and not recognizing us and that, right? Carry on.
No, for a certainty.
No, for a certainty.
That the Lord Yahweh will no more drive out any of these nations,
right,
from before you.
Right, you see that? So they become, so the Moors in Europe, they became weak. The Moors in Europe became weak because they put a seed in the Edomite. And what comes after 3 generations? Some Edomite looking shape with a weaker gene, but also a wickeder spirit, because the energy of his mother is on him. You got the resentment, that's what I spoke about earlier. You see? Carry on.
But they shall be snares.
Right, but there shall be snares.
And traps unto you.
And trap unto you. So the bastard children of Jacob in Europe became a snare and a trap unto us. And what they did, they wiped out our history, which is still there. But they wiped out our images and everything. They took control and they put the mother image there, man. And they sacked us They sacked us. If you go back to Spain and and Portugal, you know, they sacked us from Spain and Portugal, man. They sacked us. Yeah, we got sacked by our own children. But that's what the Bible says, Joshua, man. They'll become what? Tell you, carry on, man.
It's a prophecy.
Yeah, it was a prophecy. The prophecy, man.
And thorns in your eyes.
See? So they'll become what?
Thorns in your eyes.
In your eyes or in your... Yeah, carry on. In your eyes, yeah?
Until ye
And to thee, yeah?
perish
Right?
from off this good land.
You see that? And that's what happened in Europe as well. Because you remember the Black Death? We don't even know how that happened. Obviously, y'all are behind it, but we don't know what happened, who did what. You know?
Which the Lord, your Yahweh, have given you.
Right. So,
What's that, Canaan?
right, Canaan don't answer Europe. Because it's the people that make the land, it's not the land that make the people. So wherever we are, that's Jerusalem. If you notice, they used to call this place New Jerusalem as well.
Sure.
Yeah. Europe, starting with England, used to be called, you know, New Jerusalem. So it's the people that make the place. So he talks as well about Europe, because we were here, right? We were ruling, right? Exactly. Okay? So that's what happened, man. They came and did us in. Now, let me read my notes. They did us dirty, man. The children, the bastard children came back and colonized us, man. Yes. The colonizers were, obviously, yes, we had Edomite. Come on, guys. We had Edomite. But the guy that went to Africa and went into the bushes, in the interiors, and set up, you know, garrison and got us, they are people, man. But they were the muscle and the financiers. That's how you say it. The financiers, the people who finance. The people who finance. How do you call the people who finance? Accountant. He makes sure everything. Don't worry. The people who financed.
Yeah, finance.
Yeah, the whole thing, the whole operation, you know.
Financed, yeah.
You know, the people who financed the whole operation.
That's it, yeah.
Well, no, I'm saying the financier, people that financed. People who finance, what's the name of people who finance something?
Like give you like a loan.
Yeah. Also, okay, let's say the bankers, yeah, were the Edomite, yeah. And obviously through the spirit, that's why you've got today, you know, the Amalekites, who's are the top guy, what's his name, the Rothschild. They started a bank in Europe, right? Yeah, so they were the bankers, but they had the money.
Yeah.
But the muscle were the bastard children of Israel. So I say this of Jacob.
So what? Amalek used the bastard child of Israel as muscles to do
Against us.
to do their work.
Yeah. Because a lot of these colonizers, people that are the missionaries, they were Irish and Scottish. They had names like MacDonald, McCarthy, Marconi, Morrison. These are Jake names, because what is Mac? Mac come from Maccabees, man. You know what I mean? These are our people, man. You know? Mac Daddy, yeah? So he said the bastard children came back and colonized us. Amalek had the money, so they financed the bastard children of Israel, of Jacob, yeah? Because Amalek always had the money from Alexander the Great, right? And you got Genesis 27, and I believe that say that he would give, you know, Edom, Esau, the fatness of the earth. So they had the money.
Is that his portion?
Yeah, that was his portion, right? So let me ask you a question, right? For those who say that Esau went to get Jacob in Africa, yeah? Doesn't he say in the Bible that Jacob is stronger than Esau? So how would they be able to get Jacob? Because if you think through the spirit, yeah, think about it, yeah? Through the spirit, you think about it, yeah? A lot of these Esauites, a lot of these Edomites, yeah, they're scared of us, you know.
Sure.
They're shook of us. You think Esau will go to the interior of, you know, the Akpobi, Nigeria, the Akpobi, Ghana?
No.
These strong guys looking like monsters. They give you one punch, one headbutt, you go to sleep. Wake up 1 month somewhere if you're not dead. 1 month after. You think that you think that have strength? No. It's the same Jacob, because at the end of the day, though they became a bit diluted and that, but they still had the strength and the energy of Jacob. But they were Jake,
Oh, what,
the bastard children.
Oh, swear. True.
Yeah,
But some of them are like built and
yeah. All right. So they must have been Jakes, because if you look into the name of the people who came to take Jake, you know, they had names like McConnell, McRitchie, McDonald, you know, which goes back to the Maccabees, you know. Right. So the Amalekite was the money. There was the money, yeah, the head, yeah, and those bastard children were the muscle, right? When you make marriage with a heathen, right? When you're not at home to teach the Abagada, Hawazara, Kayakala, which is the Lashwana Kodasha, all right? So the mom would teach, all right, other languages, you know, to the children, the bastard children. And that's in Nehemiah 13:24. We already read that. Now let's take another historical proof of that situation. All right? The Ishmaelites, the Arab guy, yeah, are the bastard son of Abraham, man.
Ishmaelites, yeah.
The Ishmaelites are the bastard son of Abraham because Abraham had Ishmael with who? Hagar.
Yeah.
Hagar was who? A servant of Abraham. The Most High promised a son to Abraham and Sarah. Sarah became impatient like most women. She got carnal like women. And then what happened that she pushed Abraham towards Hagar so they can have a child. Ishmael came out of that situation. That's why the Bible says that Ishmael is the son according to the flesh, but he's not the son according to the promise, which make him an illegitimate son of Abraham. So when Abraham understood that, what happened? Him and Sarah kicked Ishmael out. They went out. Yeah? Kicked him out. Go. Same thing, resentment. They feel left out. Don't get me wrong, Abraham came to Ishmael Allah. The understanding of it, the basic laws.
Allah.
Yeah, Allah. Yeah? But that Allah is a Hebrew, it's an Israelite term meaning power. Alright? Now look at what's going on. The Ishmaelites as well went to Africa and they got us to slavery as well. A lot of people don't talk about that. They got us to slavery.
Oh, the Arabs.
The Arabs, man. The Ishmaelites, today our sister go to Dubai and they defecate in the mouth and give us money. Yeah? Further, you know, how do you say that? Devaluing, you know, the Israelites. Defiling us, man. Why? Because of that hatred they have for us, for Abraham kicking them out and saying that you're not a child of, you know, the promise, and the promise will come from Isaac, Jacob, and the tribe of Israel. So the Ishmaelites are the bastard sons of Abraham, and look at what they're doing to us. They did take part in the slave trade, and still today defecate in Eve's mouth till this day. Right? So through the Spirit as well, Abraham, if you go to Genesis 17:5 and 6, read it quickly so we can move on. Genesis 17:5 and 6, look how the Most High works, man. Look how what we say is true.
This is Genesis, chapter 17, verse 5.
Right?
Neither shall thy name anymore be called Abram, but thy name shall be called Abraham.
Neither shall thy name shall be called Abraham. You carry on?
For a father of many nations. Nations have I made thee.
You see that? A father of many nations. If you remember, the 12 tribes of Israel really got formed where? In Egypt. Yeah, now look at this.
Was it
Carry on? What's your something?
was it Egypt or was it in Africa?
Egypt is in Africa, right? East of Africa, right? So I'm talking about we became strong first in Egypt because Joseph was became prime minister in Egypt, right?
Didn't Joseph go to Egypt before the the rest of Israel.
But when he went there, he became the prime minister, right?
Yeah.
And because he was prime minister, what did he do? He put them, he gathered in, and then they became strong.
Where were they? Where was Israel?
They were in the land of Canaan, and there was a family, but they were only a family. They weren't a nation.
Yeah.
They became a nation in Egypt. Did you get that?
Yeah.
Right. So I say through the Spirit.
Let me try to finish.
Oh, finish 60 Malachi. Like that.
Verse 6. I will make thee
I will make thee
as exceeding
exceeding, right?
fruitful,
Fruitful,
and I will make nations
and I will make nation, the 12 tribe
of thee,
of thee. You see that?
and kings
And kings, see
shall
that?
come out of thee.
Right. We know that we are the kings and priests. Now, keyword, kings and priests. Yeah. And what's that again? Keyword, kings and priests, and what else? Fruitfulness, and what else?
I will make thee exceeding fruitful,
Exceeding fruitful.
and I will make nations
I'll make nation
of thee,
of thee.
and
Of the
kings
12 tribes of Israel and kings.
shall
We
come out
kings,
of thee.
Malachi, right? So now, through the Spirit, Abraham went to Egypt first before anyone else. That's a fact. Abraham was in Egypt before anyone else. Before he even birthed, before we came about. Yeah, we came in the picture. And Joseph, listen to this, Joseph got sold to the Egyptian by the Ishmaelites. So when you read the account, it's the Ishmaelite who took Joseph and sold them to the Egyptians. So you see again,
Didn't his brother sell him out? And then he went to Egypt, and then he was in the prison, right?
you don't read the Bible. Right? So the brother sold him to who? To the Ishmaelites. And the Ishmaelites took them to Egypt, sold them to the Egyptians.
So the Ishmaelites were the middleman, basically.
Right, but they did that through the Spirit because of that resentment.
Yeah. Was all for a purpose.
So the same thing will happen with our brothers, the bastard children of Europe, to us in Africa. So what the Israelites did to Joseph, the bastard children of Jacob did it to us. So you get what I'm saying? So he says, Abraham went to Egypt first before anyone else, and Joseph got sold to the Egyptian by the Israelite. That's a perfect example, man. All right. So the same way, and that's how you know that through the Spirit, Abraham was Joseph's incarnation, because it's through Joseph that will multiply. So the prophecy came to pass, through Joseph. The prophecy of Moses came to pass first through Joseph, because Joseph was there first in Egypt, became a king, became a prime minister, and then we became strong. We multiplied in Egypt. Right? So through the Spirit, in the reincarnation, Abraham was Joseph. If you can receive it. Alright? So as well, the bastard children of Abraham, who are Ishmaelite, sold an Israelite, which was Joseph. And the same thing will repeat itself in Africa. The bastard children of Europe that we left in Europe came and went to the land of Israel and Africa, all right, and colonized us and put them to slavery. So that's what the Most High told us in Joshua, that we was going to pay for putting seed in his even. That's what happened, man. So the party rulers, were the...
Well, you punished us for putting seed in the Edomites.
Yes. Punished us for having children, they became degenerate, they became bastards, and they came against us. That's the prophecy.
So did we mess things up a bit?
Yes, we did it to ourselves. So this whole thing, we did it to ourselves. We did it to ourselves. So it says, the party rulers, we all know what the party ruler is. Do you know what the party ruler is? The party rulers were the guy that was chasing the slaves, when they were running away.
Oh, like the dog pounds.
The bounty hunting.
Yeah. Okay.
So I say the party rollers, all right, the party rollers and the taskmasters were bastard children, all right. So the party rollers, and because the term bounty hunting goes back to the avenger of blood that we're gonna gain to. See, everything is explaining itself, man. Even all these guys that you see, even the police people, that most of them are Irish or Scottish. The police in America and that. And these people are who? Are the bastard children, and they want killing Jakes, man. Obviously you got Esau in there, yes, we got Esau in there. But understand that, yes, but there's a lot of our bastard children that went to America and they're doing the same thing over again, killing our people, man.
The Irish went to America.
The Irish went to America, the Scottish went to America. Alright? And we're gonna get into the understanding of the Irish and the Scottish too.
Hurricane people, hurricane.
Okay? Right? So the party rulers and the taskmasters were bastard children. That's why they create a whole white and black racism trick. So what happened really is we fighting against each other, man. You got the lighter skin, the bastard children looking at Edomite, and you got Jake, and they hate each other. Esau did that.
And the Willie Lynch letter, you know?
The Willie Lynch, exactly, the Willie Lynchers even, but they didn't even go into, you know, the depth. This is the Willie Lynch 2, or, you know, 2.0 explained, man. Then we're going to because the Willie Lynch that tells about Among Us, Jake. But this one is the better version of the Willie Lynch, explaining you even the people, the party rollers that we fought with Edomite, for the most part were Jake as well, man.
And I think some Jakes, maybe at the time, even now, you can see that.
Right. You can see the
looks a bit like
right.
a brother, you know?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
Right. So the Irish and the Italians were the police officers killing Jakes in America. All the police officers, you know where the Italians come from for the most part. For the most part, these Italian, the Issacharite and Levi. We already spoke about that. All right, the Roman Empire. You have to understand that. That's why the Italian, a lot of people are dark, the Spanish, and because of that strong Israelite connection. Understand that. All right. So, but we did it to ourselves because us mixing with Edomite came back to haunt us. Okay. For example, the biggest prison in America are found in the South, right? The harshest, if you go, yes, south of USA, the southern part of the states. That's where you see the hardcore, you know, prisons. All right, the toughest prison are in Texas. They're even a prison where people are actually doing slavery as before. The lighter version of it. They go and work in the field. They got chain on and that. I used to watch a lot of these prisons. I was fascinated. Me and my daughter, for some reason, we fascinated with these things. Watch it, right? Fascinating. Right. So the toughest prison are in Texas, right? So you got to understand. So Texas, through the spirit, goes back to taxation. Yeah, taxation, man.
well, like Albuquerque.
No, taxation means tax in
No, but the South, remember Arizona,
yeah, places like that.
New Mexico,
You got a lot of prison there, man.
Texas.
Hardcore Texas, man. We're talking about Texas right now. We're talking about the savage spirit. But Texas is the place where it's savage. That's where it's the strongest place, and So I said break down about tax, right? So Yahweh, made the rebels of Israel. Yahweh sent them to America and those places as a punishment, man. Because remember, in West Africa and Israel, they weren't paying tax, man. Sorry, they weren't paying the tithing. They were doing voodoo, juju, Santa Maria. They were living like animals, man.
Where?
And I pay attention. I say our people, when we were back in the land, in West Africa, we were living like animals. We went into idolatry, juju, voodoo, Santa Maria, all of this.
We lost our way.
We lost our way. We weren't paying tithing. So the Most High being the judge, he sent the wickedness of them to America, without power, to make them pay for it, man. That's why Texas with spirit goes back to taxation, man. All right? So, if you remember Caesarea Philippi, it was a place, I believe it would be in Nigeria, because it was in Zebulun and Naphtali, right? So it was a southern area from Zebulun, right? It was in the region of Zebulun, right? And that's why Matthew, right, was in that area because he came back in his law. You know, Matthew, Mathatha Yahweh, gift of Yahweh, was a Levite, a disciple of Yahushai, and he lived in that place because it's called what? Caesarea, which is the severed part of the land. Came back in his law.
Matthew was a fisherman.
And he was a tax collector.
Money,
Yeah,
man,
Peter
man.
and then Simon and then Andrew and them, I think they were fishermen. Right? So as a Levite, that's for you guys, side note, as a Levite, you come back, a lot of Levites come back as law enforcers, policemen, they come back as judge, they come back as lawyer, tax collector, and they come back as teacher.
Levites, yeah?
Yeah, the Levite. Alright? So Matthew, in his reincarnation, he was Julius Caesar, man. Why? Because Julius Caesar was the one who started the taxation system. Right? Why? Because Jake at some point wasn't paying his tax. So the Mosai brought Matthew back, brought Julius Caesar, he brought a Levi back, Aaron really, yeah, because Aaron is the head of that, or all of that, to make people pay tax. But what happened in this country? You're paying Thafa. Thafa is the X numeral, the Roman numeral meaning 10. So 2x Tha, because in Hebrew the X means Tha. So if you got XX Thafa, that's the double portion, 20%. And that's why our brothers are paying 20% when they go to work. See the most, you say how the most I go to back?
XXM.
No, I say XX. You know the XS?
20.
Yes, it's a Roman numeral there.
20%.
Right? Right. And go to Leviticus 24 and 11. You know, because we're talking about the prison as well, right? You gotta understand, in Israel, when you did some certain thing that puts you in some sort of prison, you know, that's where it comes from. That's where it comes from. So a lot of these police officers, all of these guys in America that set up things, those bastards, we got Edomites in the beast, yes. Well, those bastards, you know, most of the time they go back to the Levi, man. But they got that spirit of them, that spirit of law and order of them. Who can do the job better than the Levi? You see?
And I think, you see the court system.
It's Levitical, man.
It's very spiritual.
Of course.
It's spiritual.
They were in black and white. Black and white go back to what? The Urim and the Thummim. The eye, black and white.
Yeah.
You see when you have to see to pass judgment. You have to see what they do. You have to read the judgment. The eye, you have to see. You have to be the eye of Yahweh. So that's the black and white. The Urim and the Thummim. That's why the police officer wear what? Black and white. And some of the police officers, they even have that checker, you know, in the hat.
Even the Catholic
that black and white
priests as
checker.
Catholic priests too.
The Catholic priests were Levi as well, because to be a priest, you gotta be a Levi. Back in time, the Pope were Levi. So the Levi really set up this society, man. All right. So now go to Leviticus. You know, let's talk about the warden, the prisoners.
No verse.
Leviticus 24 and 11. What was that? Week 11 and 12, yeah.
This is the book of Levi.
So that's where the term warden come from, man. You gotta understand. You gotta learn today, bro. Yeah.
Chapter 24, verse 11. And the Israelitish woman's son blasphemed the name of the Lord and cursed. And they brought him unto Moses.
Right.
And his mother's name was
See, they
Solomon.
brought him to a Levi, which Moses is the Levi. So they brought him what? To the police officer. Yeah? The law and order, the lawgiver. Yeah? Carry on.
And his mother's name was Solomon.
And his carry on.
The daughter of Dibri, of the tribe of Dan.
Right?
Verse
Carry on.
12. And they put him
Right?
in wards
Right?
that the mind of the Lord
Right.
might be shewed
You see,
them.
they put him in a ward, man. Right? That the what?
That the mind of the Lord might be shewed them.
Right. So the mind of the Lord?
That the mind of the Lord might be shewed them.
Calm. You see that? So that's why when you go to prison, a lot of people, when they come to prison, they just become spiritual, they become this and that, you know, because of that. You know what I'm saying? I want you to read the NLT quickly before we carry on. Read the Leviticus 24 and 12 NLT. I want to know exactly what it means so I can carry on. You know, so you see that the warden come from the term word in the Bible. Leviticus 24 and 12. So this understanding is deep, man. This new one thing is deep, man. It's deep, but it's not for everyone. You know? Not for everyone, man. And now I understand that. What does it say?
Verse 12, yeah?
Yeah. 24 and verse 12. Yeah, I want the NLT.
Yeah. This is Leviticus chapter 24, verse
Right.
12. NLT.
Right?
They kept the man
carry on. Custody, see that?
unto the Lord's
It's to the Lord, yeah?
will in the matter
Uh-huh.
should become clear to them.
Right, see that? So the Most High, when you go to jail, the Most High is punishing you, man. You want to see, look, I want to see what, okay, this is what I'm going to put him there and then see how it's going to move, how it's going to change. You know? Although everything is already predestined, but you get to understand, right? So moving on, through the Spirit.
Oh, do you know what happened?
Right.
Oh, the Most High.
Bad, what is it?
Hold on.
Read it, just read it.
Okay, verse 13. Then the Lord said to Moses, verse 14, take the blasphemer outside the camp and tell all those who heard the curse to lay their hands on his head. To lay their hands on his head, then let the entire community stone him to death.
Right, that's the reason why, you know, and there's a rapper right now, I forgot his name, that rapper, he's in court, right? He's going through the justice system. And actually they wanna prosecute him to death. They wanna condemn him to death. They wanna give him the death penalty. See, so the death penalty is a Levitical thing, man. It's not Esau. Esau took it from us. The children of the bastard children went to America and set up the whole old system of Europe in America because they are Israelite but of the lighter hue. So the death penalty is biblical, it's Levitical, man. So the prison system in America was set up by the Levite that left here and went there that looked like Edomite. I mean, it's so clear. Even me, I speak, and then it's a blessing to me as I speak, man. Damn it. But like I said, bro, either you got it or you don't. You know? Either you got it or you don't, man. So I said, through the Spirit, you know, taxation goes back to the Levite. That's why they had a whip and they were reading the scriptures while doing it. While doing it, because think about it, man. I'll give you the Most High open my eyes to something. You see that scene in the roots when the so-called Edomite, the party roller, the bastard child, because that's how I know he's the bastard child of Jacob, when he was beating Kunta Kinte.
Yeah,
Kunta Kinte is a name, okay, that was given to him because his family became more adulterer. Kunta Kinte is a profane name, but Tobit is a Hebrew name. Tobit is an Israelite name. So the Most High was using that Levi, you know, that bastard child Levi, to bring back the law into these niggas that were doing what they want in the land. Now they're going to America for punishment. If you can receive it, man. See, that's one. So whenever reading scriptures and beating them, it's biblical. Go to Deuteronomy 25, Malachi 1. 1 to 3. So the reason why these party rulers were beaten Jake is because Jake was our foe. Jake was our foe. So Jake had to pay. Oh my Lord. So he brought these Levites. So the missionaries, for the most part, were Levite. And the one that took them to America were Levite as well, for the most part. Because Jake had to pay for him going against the Mosai. And that's it, man. Understanding. In that get understanding. You see, now go on, you read it. Read the Deuteronomy, what is he? Is he
25.
Deuteronomy 25 and 1, man. Read it, man.
This is the book of Deuteronomy,
Right.
chapter 25, verse 1.
Right?
If there be any controversy,
If there be any, so the controversy is what? The most I said in I think the Hosea 2, didn't it say that he had a controversy with the people in the land? So that there was a controversy. So slave trade was a result of that controversy. Colonization was a result of that controversy. So he broke the Levite through the bastard child lineage to bring the law again. You cannot escape. You can't mess with Yahweh, man. Bring that up.
between men, and they come unto judgment,
Right?
that the judges may judge them,
Right?
then they shall,
See the judges. Who are the judges? Levite. Carry on.
then they shall justify
Right?
the righteous,
Right?
and condemn the wicked.
They shall justify the righteous and condemn the wicked. Carry on.
Verse 2,
Uh-huh.
and it shall be, if the wicked man be worthy
Right?
to be beaten, that
Right?
the judge shall cause him to lie down
Right?
and to be
You see
beaten
that? That's why they were getting beaten. Carry on.
before his face.
Before his face. So the the Levite will look like Edomite, but actually doing God work. They were doing the Howard work, man. Read it. It's powerful, man.
According to his fault, by a certain number. Ooh.
Bro,
Shush.
read it.
Verse 3, 40 stripes
Right?
he may give him and not exceed,
Right?
least if he should exceed and beat him above these with many stripes, then thy brother should seem vow unto thee.
Right. See that?
So you can beat him, but not too much. If you beat him too much, you look at it. You
Yeah,
look
but
at it,
those bastard children, they weren't playing. They'll fuck the shit out of you, man.
Okay, so
But they don't like you first, and they're on job. The most I put a spirit on them to lick down these wicked Israelites that weren't hearkening to the Most High, man. You see what I'm saying? So I say this, and the Southerners, right? And the Southerners, for the most part, right, are very religious and know the Bible. Have you noticed the guy from the South know the Bible? They call it the Bible Belt. Oh,
is it like the
they
short-
call it the Bible Belt. The southern part of America is called what? The Bible Belt, man.
You know the short
There's a
shot-
reason why.
There's like in Shawshank Redemption, the movie.
Yeah.
And the governor,
Ah.
he was deep into the scripture.
Exactly.
Obviously, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like
so
that.
exactly like that. You know what I'm saying? They know the word. Even I listened to one was something about a chariot, man. He went to the New Testament to bring out. I can't even remember that precept, man. Damn it! They know the Bible, man. They know about the MLTB and all of that. They can break it down to you easily, man. Easily, like the people. Okay. Right. So I say this. Carry on,
Not
man.
every, not every white person you see is an Edomite.
No. And actually, in all actuality, the Edomite are few. And when you read Obadiah, he tells you that there are few among the people. The Edomite, they're on top. They have land.
Oh, like the
they're
pure
rich.
Edomite.
Yes, they're rich.
Pure blood.
The bastard one, that the one that you see in the middle class around us, a lot of them. A lot of people that you see in the council estate and that. These, for the most part, through the spirit, right, through the order that the Most High bring for his prophecy to come about, there will be the speckled bird and the bastard children as well,
I
man.
feel that in the spirit.
Of course, you see them, you know, man. I mean, around my place, there's so many of them, bro. I see them, and I know, because they're catching hell like us. They're real Edomite, yeah? They're balling, bro. You go to certain places in London, you will see certain area, certain place of work and place you see them there. Yes, that's where they are. All right. That's where they're ruling things. They are things. They're moving around. Yes, that's it. They're the movers and the shakers of this earth. Yeah, because the Most High given the fatness of the earth. All right. And the Southerners, for the most part, are very religious and know the Bible. And the reason why they are, the reason being because of their lineage. A lot of these religious leaders are Jake, like Josh Mayer, you know. And shoot, Rabbi Asham told me that, I was like, and I checked out like, yes, he must be Jake, you know. He had that zeal, but not according to knowledge, man. All right. So bastard children of Jake, predominantly from the tribe of Levi, you know, and they call the town counties. In Texas, they call the town counties. That go back to numbers. The Levi, you know, numbers, man. You see that? Right? So the tribe of Levi was responsible for leading the tribe out of captivity, Moses. So the tribe of Levi will be responsible to bring them back into captivity, into order. So those colonizers that you see that went to Africa predominantly were from the tribe of Levi. Because in Israel, Levi was the one with the whip. When you went wrong, Levi was the one that whipped you, man. So he brought back his people to bring the order.
Get the tribes to check.
Yeah. So slavery and colonization is nothing but the Most High using the bastard children of Jacob to bring back order, because Jacob was acting like a fool, man. You know, was acting like a fool. You know? So, one thing again, one more thing, the sheriff badge. If you check the sheriff badge, the southern, you know, the sheriff, you got the Star of David, the Dalafa.
What is the Star David? It's a star still.
It's not even the star, it's the Dalafa, it's the sign of David, it's the door of David, it's the double door, the two doors of David. It was a signature. It's not star, the star is round. The star is not like people think, the star is round. You know what I mean? It's biblical. You ain't gonna find it in Google. You go there and gonna tell you that the star is round. Well, then you can find that one. Yeah. But I say that you ain't gonna find that notion that the star is round in Google. You might find the Star of David, but you won't find. I mean, they call it the Star of David, which is a wrong way of saying. Yeah, it's a sickness of David. That was a seal signature, you know.
Yeah, look, there's a Star of David.
Well, it's not a star. That's what I say. Like you call it the Dalafa. Double door. Double.
Looks like Star David. Double.
Yeah, that's it.
Sheriff,
see that?
Got the circle stuff.
Yeah, but that goes into what?
Wicked custom.
The Israelite.
Yeah.
They made a wicked custom. They call it the Star of Molech, but it's actually the Dudo, Dalafa. The fourth letter of the
upside down. Straight triangle, upside down.
One like that upright and one upside down.
Show me one day.
Touch it. Yeah, I will show you. Yeah? So, right, so it says regarding the sheriff. So I say the sheriff badge is the Dalafa. Why? Because these are predominantly bastard children of Israel, right? And also, why the cowboys had fringes on? Yeah, the cowboys used to wear, they have those fringes type things. That goes back into the they kept the custom somehow, man.
Somehow, yeah.
You know?
For the spirit.
Yeah, so that's that, you know, the spirit bear we know that we are children of Israel, and that's that Romans 2:14 as well, man. You know? Shalakia Israel, carrying on. So the badge, the sheriff badge is the Galath of Galath. Why? Because these are predominantly, you know, the bastard children of Israel. And also, why the cowboys have fringes on? Because the bounty hunting goes back to the avenger of blood, right? Which are the Levi. You know, the bounty hunters in those places. In Savannah, if you watch, I used to watch a lot of these things. Yeah. The bounty hunters, yeah? The bounty hunters, you know, it goes back to who? The avengers of blood, man. Go to Leviticus, Deuteronomy 19 and 46. The avengers of blood, man. But the avenger of blood were Levi executioners that will go around, and if they find someone that was in the warden and judgment was passed, you know, for them to be killed, they're the one that will go, either the people that kill him are omen them that will go and kill. You see that? So that's real, man.
19.
Deuteronomy 19 and 6.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 19, verse 6. Lest the avenger of the blood pursue the slayer while his heart is hot and overtake him, because the way is long, and slay him, whereas he was not worthy of death, inasmuch as he hated him not in time past.
That's verse 6, yeah?
Yeah.
Reading it from the top.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 19, verse 6. Lest the avenger of blood pursue the slayer while his heart is hot and overtake him, because the way is long, and slay him, whereas he was not worthy of death.
Right.
Inasmuch as he hated him not in time past.
Right. So go to Joshua 20 and 3. Joshua 20 and 3.
This is the book of Joshua, chapter 20, verse 3. That the slayer that killeth any person unawares and unwittingly may flee thither, and they
Let me see.
read it again, verse 3. That the slayer that killeth
See that the slayer that killeth, yeah?
any person unawares and unwittingly may flee thither,
Right. Fever.
thither, and they shall be your refuge from the avenger of blood.
You know, it shall be your refuge from the avenger of blood. You see that? So, you know, that's the situation, man. You know, that's the thing. So the bounty hunting goes back to that Levitical order, man. You know what I mean? So those guys were Levi. Levi will hunt you down. All right. What do you think those country? Even go back to the country thieves. This woman with a big derrière, the big posterior, and the big behind. These Edomites, what do you think they come from? They're Jakes, man. You know, they're Jakes. You know, they are Jake, you know. They're Jakes, right? So now, let's talk about... Which one?
Cool. I see him a lot.
That guy? Yeah. He's under the curse, can't you see? Right, so let's talk about Onias, man. The priest Onias, for those who don't know, with the Maccabees brothers, there was a priest called Onias. And Onias got killed by his brother, Simon, and his son, you know, took control and became a priest and that. And what happened, that priest, Onias, because you have to understand, after, you know, the law, you know, our law left the land, you know, west of Africa, our people became like animals, like I said before. They were idolaters, they were doing all things and things like that. They weren't moving right? So, you know, you got Onias the fourth, all right? Onias the fourth went to, and I'll read that. Let me read it. Let me go into the understanding. I don't want to be talking to talking. I don't want to be talking to talking, just for the sake of talking. All right. So let me show you something quickly, because there's a lot of things I believe that that's why they took off a lot of things from Salakia, Israel, man. It's raining, so.
No, it's not raining still.
Just like they took the, you know, the Apocrypha, there's a lot of accounts that got taken away. Now I'm about to read one, right? Let me read one. Obviously that one, when you read it, when you read these things, you gotta read it with the Spirit, you know, guiding you. You know, the Spirit guiding is very important. You know, it's very important. Yeah, so. Right, so it's the Sepharia book, yeah? You know, chapter 13, verse 10 says, today's Mishnah deals with a fascinating historical topic, so it's historical. The temple of Onias, the priest Onias, he left the West Coast. The Levite left the land at some point, you know. Yeah. They left West Coast, that's why the West Coast is so void. There's Hebrewism, there are, but the writing, that the founding, they were able to change it around. Like we gave you the example of Skida, the town called Skida, you know, in Nigeria, right? So they were able to do that because the Levite, they left and they went to the east, which is Egypt, right? So the place that they call Israel today is actually Egypt. And there's a map that I'll throw in there to show that, man. Yeah? You will understand. So say, today's Mishnah deals with a fascinating historical topic, the Temple of Onias. The Temple of Onias was a Jewish temple built in Egypt, right? In Heliopolis, see? Egypt, right? Heliopolis, around 230 years before the destruction of the temple. Now watch this. The destruction of the temple, sometime during the 2nd century BCE, the temple is mentioned by Josephus, who relate that it was destroyed in 73, you know, CE, 3 years after the destruction of the temple in Jerusalem. And that's an issue because that guy Josephus, actually, he wasn't even a Jew. You know, it was the Amalekite. You know, so they put a lot of things, you know, to say that, oh, that temple of Onias got destroyed 3 years after the temple. No, because the temple, the second temple that David built, no, the temple that David built, Salakia, was destroyed when Nebuchadnezzar III came around and took over and took us to captivity. That was destroyed already. So what temple we're talking about? We're talking about the Onias temple. But here they're talking about to take you off the truth. Let's say that temple, particular temple, was destroyed 3 years after the normal temple. No, that's not the case. We're talking about the same temple. Onias built that temple, man. That's one part of history that is taken. You gotta do some research to understand the whole Maccabee. All right, and also one more thing, right, that I would like to go through, or I would like to speak about regarding that whole thing about, you know, Onias, right? Why would Onias, priest Onias the fourth, why would he ask Ptolemy permission to build a temple? Because he asked, for those people who don't understand, he asked Ptolemy because the fourth governor of, you know, Alexander the Great, they had different parts of the world. And one part was Ptolemy had Africa and all that place. You know, he had Egypt and Africa, all that place. That was Ptolemy's domain. So history proved that Onias, before he built that temple, he asked permission to Ptolemy. Why would he ask permission to Ptolemy if they say, and then that part where is that part that's called Israel, or no, not Israel, that part, the Asiatic part of the word
Suez
was,
Canal.
no. The Asiatic part of the word was governed by Seleucid, right?
So that's
Seleucid, yeah? Which one of the governor of Alexander the Great. So the point is, the logic is this. Onias asked permission to Ptolemy. Why? Because the place where he built the temple was in Africa, man. I told you it's Egypt. The place that they call Israel is actually Egypt. It's only the confusion came for us who were born in that era. The confusion that today, I'm talking about today, modern day, the confusion came with what? The building of the canal, the Suez Canal. Because what they did, they divided, making it look like that part of it called Israel is not the same land as Egypt, where it's the same land in Asian maps.
Yep.
See where the confusion come in?
They were artificially separated.
Right. They were artificially separated, man. All right? And another question as well. Why did the Amalekite wanted to settle in Uganda? See?
Who?
Why did the Amalekites,
Oh,
the
sure.
Amalek, yes, history, go to back, study, go back. They wanted to, before they went to that place, the place where they wanted to settle was Uganda, man.
Idi Amin's time, obviously.
I think before that, or not, yeah, before
Idi
that.
Amin said that obviously the
Yes,
British
exactly.
banned the Asians to work on a railway there. But he said now the railway is finished. He said God gave him, Yahweh gave him, spoke to him in a dream, innit? And then obviously said to the people that obviously the
Speak
Asians.
louder, you know.
Yeah, but I'll speak to you. That's what about. Basically,
You're speaking to the camera now.
Idi Amin said that obviously Yahweh spoke to him in a dream that obviously that they should get rid of the Asians out of Uganda, right? So the next day after he had that dream, he spoke to the people and he said to his people that obviously now the Asians are, because the British brought the Asians to Uganda to build a railway, now that the Asians are finished building the railway in Uganda, obviously he was saying that obviously now the Asians should go
back. Where they
go
came
back
from.
or go back to go to Britain. basically. So
Yeah, so that goes into the fact that also, obviously, that's the same energy.
because you said that Amalek was some Amalek people
Right.
resided in Uganda, right?
No, the Amalek people wanted to go and settle there.
Yeah.
They wanted to take control of that place because that place is actually it's not far from the original Jericho. Because when you look at Congo, between Uganda and Congo, you have the Moon Mountain, right? And Jericho means it's moon. So that place, or that area where Jericho was between Uganda and Congo, the reason why they wanted to go and leave Uganda because they would go into Jericho, the original Jericho. And they knew that, and they had that information, they know what's going on. That's why they wanted to leave Uganda, man.
Obviously got most of the money in the world, but with the money they have, they've got power to do what they
Yeah, but the point is, why did they want to leave them, to go there? That's because it has to do with the land.
Of course.
That's what I'm saying, it has to do with the land, man.
Yeah.
The land is not where they say it is, but that's Egypt, right? And I have a little footage that I will show you. You will see the people that were living there before 1948, man. So you see how the truth is coming out and you can't hide anymore? The truth is coming out. You see? So now, carrying on, right? The priest left Israel, which is West Africa, Canaan, and went to build the temple. The priest and Onias the fourth, Onias, right? Left Israel and went to build the temple to where it's now called Egypt, right? And
Village.
well, he went to that place called now called Israel, right? It's called now Israel, but it's actually Egypt, right? Because they call it the Middle, but they call it the Middle East. But how can the Middle East be right on top of the North? Because they say that Egypt is the North Africa, right?
So
In the countries, when you talk about the North countries of Africa, Egypt is included. In football, when you talk about the North African country, Egypt is in there. But actually Egypt is east. But that makes us think that Egypt is north. So my point is this, let's take the logic, yeah? Let's take the logic that Egypt is north, right? Why would they now call a place that is sitting right on top of the north part of Africa, like they say, why would they call it east? It's like a Middle East. Why would you put Middle East? Can Middle East be on top of the north? It don't make sense. You see? That's how foolish they are. But that's the code. They're telling you subliminally that's actually east. So Egypt is the east.
Or you think
Morocco, Algeria, and this place are west. That's why they call the Maghreb. Alright? Egypt is the east. Even the people in the ancient Egypt knew that they were living in the eastern part of Africa. Right? And Africa is actually in three parts. Yeah? It's east, west, and south. There's no such things as North Africa.
So North comes on the west, right? Northern Africa comes on the west.
Yeah, so the so-called North of Africa is actually the west. And the eastern part is the Horn of Africa, Egypt and that, Ethiopia and that. And the south is Zimbabwe, South Africa and that. Alright, so let me read my notes. So I say, there is no north in Africa, right? There is only south, west, east, alright, and east. So the continent of Africa is shaped with the movement of the sun. The sun rises from the east at 6 a.m. in the morning and reaches the south at 12 noonday and set in the west by 6 p.m. Right? Like that's why Yahweh say in John, read it, John 11 and 9. He says, are there not 12 hours in a day? No. Read it quickly, we can move on.
John 11 and 9.
Yeah, John 11 and 9, yeah.
This is John chapter 11, verse 9.
Nala,
Yahweh Shai answered,
right?
are there not 12 hours in the day?
Are there not 12 hours in a day?
So like in the day. If any man walk in the day,
If any man walk in the day,
he
yeah,
stumbleth not,
he stumbleth not,
because he seeth
yeah,
the light of this world.
right, see that? Are there not 12 days in the days, right? So a triangle has only 3 points. The earth is made of 4 points, but the land of Africa is made of 3 points. Also, the pyramid shows you that Africa is shaped as a triangle. Right? I said triangle, but triangle. That's why they worship the sun god, because they understand that they were living on one big mountain, right? The pyramid is a symbol of how Africa looked from a bird eye view, right? Another thing that shows you that there is no north in Africa is the fact that it's never, it's never too cold in North Africa. It's only cold from where you South Africa, even Europe, even southern part of Europe. They have a very good weather, man.
South of France.
Yeah, south of France, Spain. It's not cold like that. But the more you go up north,
Yeah,
getting cold.
that's where we are now.
See, exactly. So the north is what? North part is Europe, man. And then go to Jeremiah 6:22 and 23, man. That's why those bastard children, when they came to Africa, they came from where? The north. Because we were ruling in the north, we were ruling here, and the children we made came against us because of the prophecy. The Bible says, Moses say, if you go and put your seed into these women, these heathen, these strange women, you're gonna have strange and degenerate children, and they will come against you. There will be a thorn in your side, and Fiso in your side and thorn in your eye, right?
Front of the eye,
You see that?
Don't do it.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Yeah, read Jeremiah 6:22 and 23, man.
22 and 23, yeah? 16. 50. My job out, bro. What?
6. 6.
6. It's a warning to me, bro. Might be a warning to even Matt. It's a warning to everyone.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So,
well, let's go. I don't want it to be too long. Yeah, man. So that's the new one, man. It's deep. You know, take notes. It's like you go to school and you learn. Go and make your own research. Learn, man. You know?
Jeremiah chapter 6, verse 22. Thus saith the Lord, behold, a people coming from the north country, and a great nation shall be raised from the sides of the earth. Verse 23.
You see that coming from the north. I think 22 is. Read 22 again and I say. Read 22 again, man.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 6, verse 22. Thus saith the Lord, behold, a people coming from the north country, and a great nation shall be raised from the sides of the earth.
Right.
Verse 23.
That's it. That's
Sure.
it. They came from the north, innit? I wanted the north part, yeah? So that's further proving that Europe is the north, man. So Africa go east, south, and west. Actually, I would do like a little sketching quickly. So I say, the ancient knew it. That's why, you know, they call them fathers of civilization. They call the ancient Hamites, ancient Kemet, pharaohs, and that they call them fathers of civilization. But they knew that they had knowledge, man. They had wisdom. They had knowledge, right? So another thing that shows you that the continent is shaped like a triangle is the way the Nile River flows, starting from Uganda to Uganda and Zimbabwe, right?
Yeah.
South toward the north, right? Which would be the bottom of the pyramid, east. All right? So it goes like that. Let me draw it quickly. Hold on, this one. I'll try and do it quickly. Don't laugh at my drawing skills. It's a quick one. No, look at this, man. Look at this. That's Africa.
That's not bad.
Yeah, so so have a look, man. So you see, you come from there, the Nile, come from there, from that part, Uganda, Zimbabwe, that part, Uganda, Zimbabwe, where that part, and goes all the way down, like that, and it goes down to the north, yeah? So that's it goes like that, all the way to the north, right? And empties into the Galilee, known as the Mediterranean Sea. So you go to east, you go to west, and you go to south. That's the triangle like that. You see, upside down triangle. You see, there's no such thing as north. All right? So that's the understanding of that. All right?
And south of Egypt, Sudan, right?
Goes all the way down. All the way down like that. It empties into the Mediterranean. So it comes from the top in the south, it goes down like that to the north. See, so like Africa is like a mountain, a big mountain. Yeah. Alright, so let's carry on. Right, now, the Irish people, yeah? The Irish people, right? So I read it. The Irish go back to island. That's why you say I. You know, you know, islands, right? Which is the Urim and the Thummim, right? Black and white. They are Levi for the most part because they don't pronounce the higher lands, but they say highland, island, it's through the spirit, yeah? Also, we know the Italian and the Celtics are Issachar and Levi. We spoke about that already in one video. They are the law, the Levi are the law, okay? The Levi and the Issacharites as well are the law and order people in the States, in America. The Levi vibration for the most part. Levi is the law and Issachar is the order. All right. Now, regarding the Scottish flag, all right, the cross. If you look at the Scottish flag, I'll put it as well. It's like the blue and the white cross. Right. They say regarding the Scottish flag, the cross goes back to the Tawara, which is the Torah, and which is the mark of exemption as well. The Tawara, the Tha, yeah, the Tha in the Lashwana Padasha and alphabet, you got the Tha, yeah, which is the cross, right? The Tawara. So the Tawara goes back to the Levi, the law, the book of the law goes back to the Levi, all right, and the white cross goes back to the purity, water. All right, goes back as well to Moses, all right, and the white cross means pure. So the Scottish have a huge Levitical vibration, hence why the Scottish rite, among the Freemason, you got it. They're the one that came after the Freemasonry, the Scottish rites. Yeah, do your research, right? The black and white is Scottish, Levi. Yeah, that's why when you go to North America, a lot of the police officers are Scottish and Irish, okay? And in England, the police headquarters is called Scotland Yard for a reason. Yeah. And police, they do dress in black and white, right? And it goes back to Yahweh, because he says in Daniel 7 that he had white, woolly hair and dark skin, all right? And you all know the connection between the Levi and Yahweh, all right? Now, let's quickly go to Daniel 2 and 43. Almost done. Daniel 2 and 43. It will be a bit of a long lesson, but it's too much information.
This is the book of Daniel, chapter 2, verse 43. And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men. Right,
so that goes into partly clay, partly iron. Clay is a reddish color like Esau, and the iron goes back to Issachar, man. You know, partly Esau is here for a little season as well. You know, the clays go back to the potter analogy in Romans 9 and 21. All right, the iron represent honor, and clay represent dishonor. Iron is Jacob, and clay is Esau. All right. Also, the moon has a silver look to it, and Issachar keeps the time. All right, and still look like silver, man. You see that? Still look like silver when you go into the steel part, the metal part of the Roman Empire. Yeah, still. All right. Now, go to Deuteronomy. No. Go to Zechariah 9 and I believe 12.
The rest of the story.
No, read it. Let's carry on. Zechariah 9 and I believe 12. Let's see. Oh, that's 9.
You said 9.
Yeah, 9 and 6. 9 and 6. Yeah. Right, read it.
This is Zechariah, chapter 9, verse 6.
Bring it out.
And a bastard shall dwell in Ashdod.
Right, and a bastard shall dwell in what? In Ashdod, man. And Ashdod was a town on the outskirts of Jerusalem, if I'm not mistaken. You know, and that bastard, we explained to you that the bastard is an illegitimate son, so it can't be Esau. But that was those same bastard children that went to Africa, man. You know, they went to Africa. You know, and it goes back to, you know, to the Berlin Conference. You know, the Berlin Conference in 1884. You know, where they marked the land we liked, yeah, and they cut all the land with country, different Africa, Nigeria, Congo, you know, Ghana, and so on and so forth, right? So it goes back to the conference of Berlin in 1884, and is pertaineth to a prophecy in the Bible as well. That's how you know that the land was in Africa, man. Because what land in the world got marked up? Like, obviously other countries got done, but the Berlin Conference, I mean the Conference of Berlin was done, you know what I'm saying, for Africa, man. That's the prophecy that was supposed to be, that was supposed to come to pass, which is Amos 7 and 17. Amos 7 and 17, Malak. Amos 7 and 17. You know? Amos 7 and 17.
This is Amos, chapter 7, verse 17.
Nada.
Therefore, thus saith the Lord,
Right?
thy wife
Shall
be an harlot
right?
in the city,
And
thy sons
thy sons
and thy daughters
and thy daughters
shall fall by the sword.
shall fall by the sword, man. Carry on.
And thy land
And thy land
shall be divided
shall
by
be
line.
divided by line. See? Thy land shall be divided by line.
And
That's
thou-
what it did, man.
And thou shalt die in the polluted land. And Israel shall surely go into captivity forth of this land.
You see that? So from that, they were taken into captivity and things like that. You see? So you say, they marked the land with the lines and cut it all up, further proving that Israel was on the land of Africa. Esau was living there. We got the example of Charles McCarthy, see in Ghana, Leopold lived in Congo, and Captain John Glover in Nigeria. All right? And when you look at the map of the colony of Nigeria, you will understand. You go to Dalafar, man. Okay? So, after that, I mean, it also shows you that these bastard children were Esau. Esau is not Esau is a legitimate son of Isaac. Esau got the money blessing, the fatness of the earth, and the muscle was with the bastard children of Jacob. Okay, illegitimate children. All right, that even let the children in our land, even in America as well, in the Caribbean. That's why you got a lot of these Edomite-looking prime minister in the Caribbean. All of that, for the most part, are bastard children of Israel, of Jacob. All right. Say that again?
It's cool, bro. I understand.
Yeah, come. So the reason why the bastard child of Levi came back as a missionary is because Jake were living in the land but weren't paying the tithe, not keeping the law, and were practicing idolatry, so they needed to be taught Christianity so they could get the mind right, though it was a way more diluted version of the original spirituality. The missionaries were mainly Irish and Scottish. Spanish ones went to America. Christopher Columbus was a darker version of bastard children. He read the book. Yeah, Christopher Columbus wasn't an Edomite as well. And we're gonna prove it because I've got an old picture of him. Yeah, that was painted by a Jake as well in Italy. All right, but he was a Spaniard. He was a Spaniard guy, actually in Spain, because Christopher Columbus was a Spaniard. All right. So I say the missionaries were mainly Irish and Scottish. Spanish ones went to America. Christopher Columbus was a darker version of the bastard children. He read the book of Esdras. See that? It must have been probably for the tribe of Levi, man, to be able to know all of this, to know where the 12 tribe were hiding. And also Spain is near Morocco, so they had knowledge on how the 10 tribes went to America, all right? Because the 10 tribe of Israel, the northerners, the northern tribe, they went through what is called today the Strait of Gibraltar, or the Gibraltar. So we're going to show you that in the next lesson, all right? And that's the Galilee Sea as well, right? It makes sense as well why Yahushua did his ministry in that region and why Paul was called Saul of Sartis of Tarsus, which is known today as Sartis, all right? So the bastard children are the one you see as well in America, in Australia, because the Australian is actually the so-called, criminals in the UK that were sent there. So Esau wouldn't send his own people like that in that manner on ships like vagabonds. He wanted to get rid of the big part of those bastard, children of Jacob, and as well, when their days like they proceeded to breed them out a lot as well. When they were done with them, they started to breed them out as well, and they send them to all of those places now. America, Canada, right, and Australia, Canada, and America, right? So, and the Spirit bear witness when you see a lot of them. So here are even the Manchester. Here are like few examples, right? The Manchester City manager Guardiola. It's just a Spanish way of saying Gawadala, Allah, which is soldier of the power, right? See that? Even Mourinho goes back to Morris, and it goes back to the mall, all right? And Haaland of the Man City is definitely a bastard child because you can see his features, man. All right? And a lot of the Spanish names are Hebrew. The Iberian Peninsula is a strong indication of who came and lay with Queen Europa, with that hall, man. All right? So ask yourself these questions, right? Where did these Caucasian women who got these bodies got a shape from? They clearly got it from us, man. All right? Clearly got it from us. Because they have that gene, okay? The black gene. Because the Edomite, she's skinny, she got her waist, but yes, but the bastard child or the speckled bird, they've got that thing. So a lot of the Spanish and that, Spanish, Portuguese, the southern thick, all of them were bastard children, children, and so-called speckled bird and that. So that's the lesson right there, man. Hopefully you were edified.
Hopefully.
All right. With that, we will turn to the east and we'll give our praises. Yahweh, Hashem, Yahshai, Wahab, Kwam Yeshua, Abad Baba, man. Abad Baba, and may the Virgin of Babylon, get taken down by a big missile, man. Shalom.